Hello.
This is episode 23 of the Queen City Yarn Dying to Knit, and we got Janice back.
We only had to schedule this
like forever.
2 times? 3 times?
Yeah, probably. 3 times.
We made it work.
We did. So, welcome. This is the Queen City Yarn Dying to Knit podcast. I'm Kristen.
I'm Janice.
And you can find us online. You can find me on Instagram as Kristen C.
Did you have to think about that?
On Ravelry as Kristen. You can find my designs as Kristen Clement Designs. And you can find both of us as Queen City Yarn on Ravelry. No, on Instagram. And on our website.
Yes.
And here on this podcast.
Yes.
And this is JANISFICKER in all of the places.
Yes. If you're looking for me somewhere, just look for my name. You'll find it.
Yeah.
If you spell Janice correctly, you'll find me.
Yeah. So this is a podcast about knitting. Sometimes crochet. Sometimes spinning. Oftentimes yarn dyeing. Today about friendship. What? Yeah, so...
And I have something in my bag I haven't showed you that you didn't just say.
What?
We'll get there.
Ooh. So, anyway, it's been a long time since we've gotten to do a podcast together. Life has been busy. Work has been busy with, like, Queen City work and also, like, all the other jobs that we do. We manage all the things.
Yes. So many things.
Yeah. So... yeah, thanks for stopping in to check us out and spend some time with us. I hope you have something warm to drink. Janice picked up Starbucks on the way.
Did.
Extra shot, what?
Your buddy Richard made them for us.
He's so nice. He's the drive-thru guy at the local Starbucks, and he is, like, the most friendly person. Like, first of all, if you go to Starbucks in the morning and you need like, a pick-me-up, right? So you go, you get some coffee, makes your day better. This guy just takes it to a whole nother level. Yes. He's always friendly. He remembers everybody. Like, it's just, he's a ray of sunshine in the Starbucks drive-thru line.
Well, and he was working inside because I had ordered ahead and just picked it up. And when I got in there, it wasn't ready yet. And so I was standing there waiting, and I was like, "You got Janice back there?" And he's like, "I got you. Kristen's extra shots."
Right? Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh." And I wasn't 100% sure I had ordered your coffee right because I was driving.
Uh-oh. That's
Sorry.
not safe.
No, it's not safe. I shouldn't have done that, but I did. And he was like, "No, you didn't order it right, but I fixed it." So Richard knows you.
Yeah, he does.
And knows that we're connected.
Yeah.
So
Can't Siri order you Starbucks?
I don't know. I've never tried it.
I feel like you know how to make all the things that in technology work. And I'm pretty sure that if anyone Siri can order Starbucks, it is yours.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never tried it.
I feel like we should try. Like, not now, but maybe later.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyway, yay for coffee. We have lots of knitting. I have a finished object. Janice has a finished object.
3.
She's probably had more, but she just brought recent finishes.
We can talk about that when we get to finishes.
Okay. And I have a ton of works in progress. Because
I do not.
I spread out the knitting love. And, yeah. I have some spinning to show you, which I'm super duper excited about. And, yeah.
Are you spinning for something? Spinning for something, or are you just spinning?
I'm spinning because I want to spin. Mike bought me my wheel. We were trying to figure this out the other day. I think he bought me my wheel maybe in 2008. Christmas of 2008 is when he got me my wheel.
Okay.
Possibly 2007, but I think it was 2008. And I spun on it a lot when I first got it. Like, I tried all different kind of fibers. I joined into a bunch of different groups on Ravelry that were about spinning and, like, hooked up with people. And I had a super nice lady, like, from Washington State send me a whole package full of like a ton of different fibers to try.
Nice.
And so I did that. I did some drop spindling, but after I had kids, I didn't spin like at all.
Well, I mean, at least when they're little, that's hard. Like,
yes,
fingers and wheels and like back up doesn't really work.
Yeah. And drop stitches, you know, with knitting, drop stitches are easy to fix.
Right.
I've fixed a million drop stitches. And it's also something that I can do together with the kids.
Yeah.
I think as my kids are getting a little older, spinning can be that too. Caitlin is really interested in spinning right now. And so the next thing that I have to go on the wheel is I was intending to be an art yarn anyway, to see if I could still spin that way. Because when you first start spinning, everything is like thick and thin. Sometimes my stuff still is. But
you start with art yarn because
you do. And then once you like become more knowledgeable about drafting and like what it is and how it works and how you treadle and all that stuff, then you become more even-ish. Especially if you practice, you do. But I don't know if I can still spin that lumpy bumpy fun yarn, and I really kind of want to. I think Caitlin would enjoy knitting with it or crocheting with it or something. You know, I think that would be a lot of fun. So
is she knitting more?
She gets her knitting out and she's like, okay, Mom, we're going to knit together. And she sits beside me and she opens her bag and she'll do like 2 stitches and be like, look at all this. Look at how my hat is. And then she'll put it down and she'll be like, so what are you knitting? Can I knit with you? Can I do your thing? Da-da-da. Like, yeah. Okay.
So she's bored with her project.
Maybe.
So if you were a nice mom, not that you're not, but like ideally she would be like you and have multiple projects going at a time.
I think that would I think she's like me in that regard.
Yeah.
She did. So after I finished the Winston pullover that I ended up giving to my mom, I had some yarn left over, and it's really huge yarn. And the sweater was knit on size 17 needles. And she wanted to knit. She had her hat with her, but that's not what she wanted to knit on. Right. She wanted to start a scarf. And she did. She started a garter stitch scarf. And she's doing really well with the turning back and forth, which is not something she's done before, because I've always had her in the round. Yep. And so she's got about 6 inches of a scarf. And she hadn't worked on it, but I did steal the needles to knit my finished object. I'm going to show. But so they're available again now, but she's not yet shown interest again in knitting it. Also, I think that she wants like all of the project bags.
So she
just
is wants
me.
Project bags. She is you.
Yeah, she wants like
in
all different
so
project bags
ways.
with all different projects. She needs options. But she's got all kinds of crafts. She got a ton of crafts for Christmas. So we've been like really doing crafting strong in my house. She got this really cool, for my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, she got this really cool paint pouring thing where it was like you mixed some kind of stuff in with acrylic paint and then you layer it into it was like a cup, and then you flip it over you put the canvas on top and you flip it over and you like kind of pick it up slowly and the paint like bloop, bloop, bloops out, and it makes that crazy cool, like, kind of like that alcohol ink stuff. Mm-hmm. It looks really cool. Cool. And then she completely covered it with glitter so you cannot see the differences in the paint. Because glitter was an option. And I was letting her do the glitter because it was part of the kit.
Yeah.
Usually I'm very anti-glitter.
Yeah. As you should be.
Yeah.
So this is a good segue. I was in the dollar spot the other day at Target, and they had one of those like sewing little things. Mm-hmm. And I picked one of those up for her for Valentine's Day. It's a little llama, and that comes with like 6 yards of yarn in like 2 or 3 colors.
Oh, she's gonna love that.
You just like sew around the llama kind of thing.
Yeah.
So while I was there, I picked that up, and then I also picked up this. And some of this was influenced by the dollar spot at Target, and some of this was also influenced by Fru.
Yes, I just watched her podcast where she did all those hats. Did you buy? Is it a machine?
No.
Okay, it's just like a...
No, it's...
Oh, it's like the little first knitter doll that Caitlin has, that Caitlin and Ryan have used.
So, it's just a little hat loom for knitting. or weaving or whatever hats.
Tangling yarn.
Tangling yarn. It's really good at that when you shove it in a bag. So it obviously needs like much bigger yarn than what I'm using, but I'm using 4 strands of scrap fingering weight yarn.
I'll give you the leftovers from my sweater if you want to do that.
Leftovers.
No, this big sweater. You could knit a hat in like 5 minutes.
Yes, I do want a piece of that yarn for my potential Italy yarn.
Okay.
So I'm just holding 4 skeins of fingering weight together to try and get, the right yarn here. Yeah, that's twisted all kinds of. But yeah, I'm just like knitting a hat.
That's cool. So do you use a crochet hook? You like wrap it and then you pull with a hook?
It comes with a little hook. So I've always wondered this. It comes with a little hook. And the ridges in the side. Oh. Your hook fits. That's really hard to do backwards. Fits into.
Yeah.
The hole.
That makes sense. So the little first knitter loom, instead of having the pegs, it's got like little U's of wire. Like upside down U's. Like a little thing of wire. And so then you can you use a crochet hook and you pull it. You can pull through and up.
Yeah, so the hook's just
or up and over, I mean.
Like this.
That's cool.
So, yeah. So I played with this the other day.
Nice.
And I don't know, maybe I was living in some kind of dream world of Wendy Frew and her little knitting machine where this would take no time.
Yeah. Well, hers has a
not
crank on the side of it.
Right. Hers is actually a knitting machine, not this little loomy thing. But I mean, it's fast, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not super fast.
Yeah.
So that was probably. I mean, obviously there was some learning curve because I had never done this before. And then there was also a learning curve of the cats were playing with the balls as they were laying on the floor in my office.
I didn't think your cats like yarn.
When it's loose
moving
on the floor in your office and moving, then they're like, yes.
What is this?
What's going on?
Hey, thanks for getting me a new toy, Mom.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, this is...
So how did you cast it on?
An hour. How do you cast it on? So you start with a knot here, and then you just wrap around twice.
Oh. And then you just start.
And then I found that the clothespin is helpful for keeping things wrapped because, you wrap around, and then you let go, and, it comes loose. So it also makes twisted stitches.
I think it's because you're wrapping it around. Okay, so on the first knitter thing that Caitlin does, we just go in front and loop over. Oh, you know what I mean?
Well, the instructions told you to wrap it around.
Okay. Well, your instructions give you twisted stitches.
So you're saying if I just go like this.
If you just did like that, yeah, do one and you'll see. Because that's a knit stitch. It's got to just pull up a loop, right?
No, that makes sense. So maybe I didn't read the instructions long enough. Maybe I learned how to do the first row where it's twisted and then the rest you're supposed to
Maybe you have to twist the first row to make it stay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It's cool though.
So I don't know. Yeah.
It'd be cool to do a really long one and join it around and make that a cowl. Like one of those infinity cowl things. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I'm also curious because you can see that it's a pretty open fabric here.
Yeah, that's why I think it would be well suited for a cowl. Don't you think that would be nice to have around your neck?
Yeah. So I'm just really curious, how much it'll actually kind of come together once it's done. I don't know.
Well, you block it.
Exactly. We'll see.
That's cool.
So yes.
Yay, new craft.
Sort of.
It is. That's a totally different. I think it's a totally different thing.
Yes, it's totally different. So it wasn't on your list of things.
It wasn't on my list of things. Today's episode also includes loom knitting, brought to you by JANISFICKER.
And the Target dollar spot.
And the Target. That was only $1.
It was $5.
Yeah, the dollar spot. They get you. They're like, the dollar spot.
And then it's
this is
$3.
10. This is 4. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the 6 yards of acrylic yarn and wood burned llama shape thing was only $1.
That's good. That's good.
But
well, that's cool though, because she is interested in sewing. One of the neighbors' grandmothers sews, and they are crafty. And I taught her daughter how to knit. And so she's going to teach Caitlin how to sew. Well, that's the fabric that you gave me for Caitlin. So she's super excited about it.
Cool.
All right, you want to see my finish?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've worn it.
You did try it on at knit night the other night. This is my finished Winston pullover. I was going to wear it today, and I had it on, and I was getting things together, and I was like, no, it's too hot. It's definitely like a cold weather sweater. Last week, we had a couple of days where it was in like the 40s, and I wore this and was very warm. I was comfy. Well, with a shawl around my neck, because it does have a big open neck. But that's my jam. I don't like too tight around the neck. So this was Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick. And I think it's called the Marble. It's like a tweed.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. It's going to pill like crazy. And the little tweedy bits. Looks like, I don't know if you can see. It's kind of like furry. But it's really comfy.
When I tried it on,
and it sheds.
I described it as, I feel like I'm inside a teddy bear.
It does, yeah. It does feel like that.
And it's similar texture to a teddy bear.
It's super duper soft and comfortable. I enjoyed knitting everything on it except for the sleeves, because the size 17 needles that I had are 24-inch length, which made me completely zoom on the body. The whole cast on and the body, taking the sleeves off and then doing the whole body took me like 12 hours of knitting. No, not even. That took me 7. I think the sleeves took about 5 altogether, because I had to constantly, I love to magic loop, but I had to constantly readjust because my circular was not long enough to legitimately magic loop, to have that extra loopy thing out.
So you were doing more of like a shift kind of thing.
Yeah.
Knit some, pull it out here, knit some.
And it was annoying. I don't think that would have been as annoying if I had like 100 stitches to work, but this was like 20 stitches, or not 20, but it was a very small number of stitches. And so it's like knit a couple, readjust, knit a couple, readjust. To the point where I actually looked online to see if I could get double pointed needles in size 17. And then I don't think they do that.
I don't know.
But I wasn't going to pay I wasn't going to buy like a 32-inch size 17, because they were expensive. The Childview needles cost me as much as like 2 balls of the yarn.
I was going to say as much as the yarn.
But I've knit 2 sweaters on it, and Caitlin is knitting a scarf with the leftovers of the first sweater. And
so they're fixed? They're not interchangeable?
They're fixed, yeah. I don't think they had the interchangeable tips, size 17.
I think I have a pair. I think I have your old Knit Picks pair.
You probably do, because I gave you all my old Knit Picks needles.
Yeah. I know I have an interchangeable size 15. I feel like I have a 17 too.
I know I've had 15s before, but I don't know about 17s.
I'll have to look.
Yeah. Well, I'm not knitting any more of those sweaters. I'm done now.
So I think I want that sweater.
Knit it. You can buy if you want to use the same color as me, I've got like a ball and a half of the yarn left. So I thought I was going to need an extra ball, but it turns out the tweed of that yarn comes in a bigger put up.
Bigger pit up?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying. It comes, so instead of 87 yards, it was like 107 yards.
Yeah.
And 20 yards makes a huge difference when you're getting like 2 stitches an inch,
Yeah.
So.
Maybe. I was thinking of using my Italy yarn and holding something with it.
Yeah.
So
what weight is your Italy yarn?
I
should have brought it to show everyone.
I should have. I looked it up, and it's technically an Aran weight according to like Ravelry and what it says. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if I hold a DK with it,
maybe. This is a super bulky, because when I was getting yarn to knit the first one, I was like, if I really like this, maybe I can dye myself Plaza Midwood and knit it, but it's way, way bigger.
Spoiler alert, Plaza Midwood knits up at 4 stitches per inch.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This is Janice's new FO.
Yes.
I recast off for her, did the tubular bind off for her. What's this sweater called?
Metropolis. Mm-hmm. It is a Tanis lavalier pattern. I think I'm saying that right. And yeah, so I did modify it slightly. So it's a bulky weight sweater, big cowl neck, one thing I like about and it's a free pattern. One of the things I liked about the cowl neck was you actually cast on for the sweater, so you have a seam here.
Yeah. So it fits better.
Yeah, so you come back and you pick up the cowl. So if you want just like a little mock cowl, you could do that.
Or you could wait and see how much yarn you have left.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So my cowl is actually a full ball of yarn.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And I still had an extra ball left.
Really?
I had taken 2 full dye lots, so I had 8 skeins. Mm-hmm. And I have a full dye lot left. Or a full ball left.
This is one of the Star Wars colorways.
Oh, the computer went to sleep on us.
It does that, yeah.
Yeah, so this is Run of the Smuggler. This is one of our Star Wars colorways. And so it's then got tons of ribbing on
I love long cuffs.
On the
long
cuff.
rib cuffs.
And then it's also got lots of ribbing here that in her pattern she has start much higher. So I did make it longer.
I like where you started the ribbing. It's flattering.
Yeah. So thanks to Martha for helping me all right, so get below that line there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it. I'm
Knitter
happy with
friends
it.
are the best friends.
Knitter friends are the best friends.
Yeah, for sure.
Honest to knitter friends who are like, no, not there.
Right, that's not working for you.
Nope. Try again. So yeah, and there's no shaping in it. It's just a simple raglan sweater.
What size needles did you knit that on? Like 11s?
So no, you actually change needle sizes a couple of times. So I think the body I knit on 11s, and then you start this 3 needle sizes smaller
To pick up?
Mm-hmm. So you never increase here, but to increase it, you change your needle sizes 3 times.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
it gets more cowly, like.
Without doing any increases and messing with your ribbing.
Yeah, instead of doing like a super tight turtleneck, because it would fit really a lot tighter if you stayed on the smaller needles.
Yep. And then you drop to smaller needles for the ribbing here and at the bottom.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I needed 3 different pairs of needles. No, you needed 2 different sets of needles. I think the body's on 11s, and then you're supposed to knit the ribbings on 10s, and I didn't have 10s or something. But when I was knitting the cowl, it wasn't flaring as much as I wanted it to because I'm a ninja tight knitter. So I actually changed. You're supposed to only change from your small needle to another needle. I changed this 3 times.
Yeah.
Cool. Just so it did get nice and flary. And then you did the bind off for me.
Mm-hmm. You did the bind off on the sleeves. The sleeves look really good.
The sleeves do look really good, but I really struggle with that tubular bind off, and I know how to do it. My tension is just never right.
Well, you do a different tubular bind off than I do.
I've tried it your way too.
Yeah.
And doing the setup rows with the slips, I have found that's how I did the sleeves, and I found that made it easier for me to not make my tension too tight.
Yeah.
So I either make my tension way too tight and like it doesn't look like it's rolling over, or I make it too loose and then it just looks sloppy.
Yeah. I think when I Kitchener, like the toe of a sock, which is essentially the way that you Kitchener when you split it onto 2 needles and do those setup rows, I think I'm tighter doing it that way than I am when I do the sewn tubular bind off the way I do it. All on 1 needle with no setup.
See, I found that if I do it with the setup and the 2 and then do the Kitchener, my tension is better there. My tension doing it your way is way worse.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're opposites.
Yeah, I don't know. It's either incredibly tight or, like I said, super sloppy looking.
Yeah. Well,
so
it's looking good now.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. I have other finished thing to show, but it's not knitting. It is spinning. So this was some spinning that I finished that I had on the wheel. I started spinning this after I got back from the Frolic in November. And so this is fiber that I got at Maryland Sheep and Wool from Loop. and it's called Mists of Avalon, and it's got bamboo, merino, angelina, firestar, and neps, tinsel neps in it. And then I spun it with whatever was left on the bobbin, because I like to do that to kind of clear off the bobbins and make marley ones. I think that's fun. Okay, so that is the last thing I had on my wheel at the end of the year. And then for Christmas, I asked Mike to get me a woolly winder for my spinning wheel. And I love it. So this is my first spin on the woolly winder. And this is probably the prettiest, most even yarn I've ever spun in my entire life. And it's not yet washed, but it's just, I am so, so excited about it. And this is yarn from Knitty and Color, also from a Maryland sheep and wool, because I tend to buy fiber to spin when I'm at places like that, and then I come home and I put it in my cabinet of fiber to spin, and it doesn't get spun. And this one was called Purple Rain. So I guess this was the Maryland sheep and wool right after Prince died, as she had this colorway. And it's superwash Targhee wool. And then I, spun a little for whatever was left on the bobbin. But so this was my first experience with spinning with the woolly winder, and I love it so, so much. I feel like it's going to be a total game changer for me. I can't wait to get something else on the wheel. I just haven't had time, but I'm really excited. So my brother got me an art bat for Christmas that is like super crazy, and that's the one that I'm gonna do, like let Caitlin help with and have it just be,
what it is,
first spin-ish kind of thing. She's excited about it. So Ryan's not really interested in the spinning wheel, aside from like if he could make a Lego guy stand on the inside of the, and I'm like, please don't do that. Please don't do that. So he sets them up across the back of the treadle. Like there's like a board there, so he sets Lego guys up there so they can watch me spin. So anyway, that's my other finish. And then I have lots of works in progress. You have other finished things though, don't you?
I do have other finished things. So the first thing I finished was, well, let me back up. So I think it's 7 sweaters on the needles.
You have 7 sweaters on the needles? How do I not know about all these sweaters? I know
3 of them I can't talk about.
Oh, even to me? That's so rude.
You know about them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The
I was gonna be like,
no, the 3 sweaters I made on the knitting machine.
Yeah, but those are still on the needles.
Yeah.
Girl, you better.
I know.
You just have to seam them up
and do the ribbing on some of them.
Yeah.
I've started. I need to get back to them.
Let it roll. Just seam them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have those 3.
Okay, but there's 4 others that I don't know about.
There's my honey sweater.
I know about that. Mm-hmm.
The sandpiper that I really want to finish for Virginia Beach.
Yeah, but you're not that far on that one from being done, are you?
I need to finish. I need to pull it out of the bag and look. I need to finish. I'm like here on either the front or the back.
And then you have to do the other.
The other side is done.
Oh.
The front or the back, whichever one. I don't remember. And then it still needs sleeves.
Does it have long sleeves?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I need to finish that.
Are the sleeves just stockinette?
No, they're the blocking, stitch? Like the pattern. Yeah. So that's 4. My Jenny flower are twinsy sweaters.
Yeah.
That's hibernating in a bag, and I'll get back to that when it starts to get a little warmer in like a week.
Maybe. It's been chilly.
It has been chilly.
So you're up to 5 now. You have 2 more sweaters to confess.
I guess it was this.
That's not on the needles anymore.
It's not on the needles. And then I picked Brian's Christmas sweater back up.
Oh, yes, that was done, but you're fixing. Yes. Okay.
I'm doing some repairs to that.
All right. I feel so left out of the loop.
So I have all these sweaters on the needles, and I really want to finish these sweaters. Like, those 3 really need to get finished.
Mm-hmm.
And then I need to finish Brian's Christmas sweater. And so I've been doing, like, smaller projects.
Yeah.
So one of those smaller projects is this cowl. It's called Moonset, and don't ask me the designer. I don't remember.
Well, Danny was posting about this.
Yeah.
Our friend Danny.
London Fog Stitchery has posted about it a ton, and so has Old Soul Fiber.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I made a project page. I need to make a project page because this is points for ZK. So this is our Biddleville DK. The top is Golden Rule. The middle color here is Silent Disco, which is going to be our colorway for Virginia Beach coming up in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And then the bottom is Beautiful.
Yep.
So I wanted to, 1, make this, and 2, we needed something knit up in Silent Disco. Mm-hmm. So I thought this was a good idea.
Yeah, I love it. So I like how it turned out. Although, when you started that project, I was like, I remember knitting herringbone stitch and not liking it. But that was so many years ago, so maybe it's...
So
it wouldn't be as bad now.
She does tell you in the pattern to not use the same size needles in both hands.
Yeah, you did say that. I think that would make a huge difference.
Yeah. So I finished this. And one thing that you can't tell from everybody's pictures that they're posting everywhere about this is that the bottom is a split hem.
I think that's nice.
Which I think is really nice. Mm-hmm. So you increase and then you join in the round before you start the herringbone. And it needs to be blocked.
Yeah.
I have worn this so much.
Yeah?
Yes.
In your cold house?
Yes. So we got our electric bill and it was pretty high. And our apartment really likes, you know how buildings just like have a temperature they want to be? Mm-hmm. Ours is way too cold for me.
Yeah.
So
you're cold-natured anyway.
I'm always cold to begin with. So, and then when I'm sitting at my computer,
not moving around, yeah.
Of course
you're gonna have to like set a timer, like get up and do 10 jumping jacks.
My watch yells at me constantly to stand up. I need to start listening to it. But so yeah, I've been wearing this at my desk along with my hat. That
did you bring your hat?
It might be in my bag over there. I'll go look.
Okay.
So I've worn this quite a bit, but it needs to be blocked.
Yeah.
So, but I do love this new color.
I really like the way it knit up too.
Silent Disco.
Mm-hmm.
So
Shayna was very excited when she saw that there was a Silent Disco in the shop. Because she is the one that suggested that name.
Oh. It's better than the temporary name it had.
Yeah.
That we won't share.
No. You used it in another project too.
I did. So for Virginia Beach, there at the retreat, there's going to be a cast-on party for basically a colorwork something sweater. Mm-hmm. And Martha has suggested a couple of sweaters. One of them is the Just Float pattern that Stephanie Lotvin designed for us for Berry Hill. Mm-hmm. So hopefully a lot of people want to make that sweater. I love that sweater. Mm-hmm. I wear that sweater a lot.
I know. I wish I got to hold on to that sample of that sweater.
It's in the bag of samples downstairs that I haven't split up the samples. So if you really want to borrow it, you can. I do wear it quite frequently though.
Yeah.
And then the other patterns she suggested was, I think it's a Theta.
I think that's the name, yeah.
By Jennifer Steingass. And we already have a Just Float sample. I wear it frequently. I don't need another one. So thank you, Trisha, for knitting that for us.
Yeah.
And then the Theta sweater just doesn't speak to me. There's several other Jennifer Steingass sweaters that I would love to knit. Mm-hmm. That one just isn't one. But you had done, you did it for Humulus?
No, the swatch hat I made was for, I was going to do New Leaf, and that's the pattern that I swatched. It's a Jennifer Steingass pattern too, but I ended up doing Garden Gate. The gauge was the same, so I knew my gauge was going to be fine.
Gotcha.
But that's why I did the swatch hat.
So, decided to do a swatch hat of the Theta.
I really like it. I think it's really pretty.
It is really pretty. It's just, I don't want to make it.
Yeah,
that's all.
Cool.
So this is some Irish Disappearing Trick and more of the Silent Disco. And so one of the great things about a little colorwork swatch chat is you realize that your gauge is way off. And you can't wear it
because of your Ninja Tight knitting.
Because of my Ninja Tight knitting. And the beautiful thing about a hat is I'm sure there is a human that is not too far from me that would fit this hat.
For sure.
And would love it. Mm-hmm. So maybe it'll go to Martha's charity hat pile after we're done showing off the colorways at Virginia Beach.
Oh, that's a good idea. Is she collecting hats at the retreat? That's awesome.
I don't know if she's doing it at the retreat. She's been collecting a lot of charity stuff.
You should tell her that she should collect hats at the retreat. I mean, knitters are coming.
Yeah.
I bet people would bring hats.
So, and thank you to looking at the pattern and figuring out how to make the crown look good.
Yeah, I like it. It looks really pretty.
So yeah, that's my little swatch hat.
Cool.
So these will be new samples of Silent Disco at Virginia Beach, and they'll get blocked.
I like it with Irish Disappearing Trick a lot. I like green though. That's my jam.
Yeah, it actually
it shows really well, even though it's not like such a, I don't know.
Yeah.
It shows more than I thought it would.
Me too. And I had plenty of that little.
Did you? That little
nugget you gave me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not if it had been an adult size.
Right. That was left over from my Pop Top mitt.
So those are my 2-3 finishes.
Nice.
So
cool. Well, I have tons of things on the needles. I'll show you what I thought.
Oh, let me see.
See if you have that hat. While you do that, I'll show you what I had intended. Okay, well, I'll let you show your hat finish first, because mine's not finished. Won't. Where'd you get this from?
We need to order these. Where did I think Cheryl, Choco Cat Mom, gave me that.
You have to show that. That's super cute.
So she's on Instagram. You can probably pull it up real quick. I sent you a text. I sent you a message with her. It's like Angie and Britt or something.
All right. Well, you show your hat and I'll find it.
So she makes these little tags that you put on your hats. I really want them as little Queen City yarn samples that we can.
Oh, my internet doesn't work in here, so that's not going to show.
We'll put it.
But there was a coffee one that you had sent me.
Yes,
that was super cute.
Same girl.
Okay.
Same person. So it's just this little tab that you can wrap around, and I thought it would be cute to put on our Queen City samples.
It has a crown, right?
You can customize them.
Yeah, we need a crown.
So this is my hat that I have been wearing with my cowl. Very fashionable in my office by myself, let me tell you. So we went on a family vacation for Christmas, and we decided that nobody was getting gifts. We weren't exchanging gifts. We were just going on this cruise together.
Yeah.
So we did. But I, inspired by our friend Anne, who had done a cruise a couple of years ago with her family, she made everybody a new hat for the trip. And I thought that was a wonderful idea. So I did. I made all 6 of us new hats, and this was mine. Don't ask me what pattern it is. Lots of people have. I believe it is a Cold Comfort Knits hat pattern.
That sounds like something you said to me.
Yeah, I didn't put any of those hats as project pages. Ravelry and I just, for no reason other than I don't bother.
You just don't have time.
I just don't have time. I just don't have time. When I leave my office at night and go downstairs to hang out with my husband and not work, I don't want to be on Ravelry adding things.
Because you've been on the computer all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is our Berry Hill mulberry, and then the mohair I picked up from
the Knot House.
The Knot House when we were together at Black Mountain.
Because we don't carry a mohair base.
We do not carry a mohair
but it is really nice knit with Berry Hill.
It is a very nice knit with Berry Hill. And then I put a giant pom-pom on it. And then you gave me this brilliant idea of the button.
The button is amazing, isn't it?
And that Angie and Britt girl I think it's Angie and Britt. I'll look it up.
Okay.
Although I can't because
the internet doesn't work. You tell me what it is, and I'll put a little dealie on the screen to tell people what it is.
She also makes little buttons, kind of Katrinkle style, like the wood,
cute.
The laser etched wood that is buttons for your hats.
That's cool. So. Yeah, I'm totally digging the button thing. And you know what? I don't even sew them on. I just put them inside and thread stuff through, and
that's all I do here.
Yeah.
So, and there was one day on our trip, there were many days on our trip when it rained, but there was one day where it was raining and it was cold enough that I needed my hat. So I just took the pom-pom off.
So you could be able to put it in your...
Tucked it in my bag, and then I could put my hood on over my hat.
That's awesome.
Without, the giant pom-pom.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, all of the hats were well received. They were all Queen City yarn, and they were all...
keep going. It's just
they were all Queen City yarn. Most of them were oopsie colors out of the oopsie bin.
Not really oopsie, just like not quite right.
Yeah, like one of them was supposed to be our slate colorway, and when it came out of the pot, we were like, that's not slate. Yeah. So the two brothers got to pick out their hats. They picked out the patterns they wanted, and Mark wanted a 3-color colorwork hat, and so I had a lot of gray left over from that. So that gray ended up my father-in-law's hat, which was just a ribbed gray hat. My mother-in-law got the rest of the Mountain Orchard skein from your pop-up mitt that I made, sample I made.
Didn't you knit her a treadhead hat?
Hers is treadhead. I do know that. Gary's hat was from Expression Fiber Arts. Shandy, she has a free hat pattern called like my boyfriend hat or something. It's just simple ribbing. And then Brian did not want a hat because he has a hat he loves that he lost the week before we left on our trip. Still haven't found that hat.
Really?
So Brian didn't have a new hat. I only knit 5. That was mine. And then Kevin's hat was some oopsie slate as well. And his was just a textured hat. And I think his was also a Cold Comfort Knits hat.
Yeah.
So.
Yay for hat knitting.
Yeah.
I love
think
hats.
I have a picture of all of us in our hats.
I hope so. If you do, you should send it to me and I'll put it on the thing.
I sent you one and I was like, Kevin didn't bring his hat.
You did. You were like, yeah, his hat's cold.
Kevin's complaining he's cold and didn't bring his hat. Yeah. But the rest of us have hats on.
Yeah.
Brian brought his hat that I made him from Vogue.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
Nice.
So I went to Vogue 2 years ago. Clinton Hill Cashmere was there and I fell in love with that yarn, and that yarn is expensive. So I was like, hey Brian, pick out a skein and I'll get a skein and it'll be enough to make you a hat. Yeah. So he picked out this camel color, and by the time I got off the airplane I had finished the hat, so I gave him a finished hat.
Yeah. I missed you. Here's a cashmere hat.
Thanks for letting me go to Vogue.
Yeah.
Letting me, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But then it's like, it's awesome because you get to knit with the yarn and you get to enjoy it and all of its loveliness. And then you also get to spoil your husband with something really special like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good thing. Speaking of hats, my hat pattern is live now. The one I showed last time, it's the Berries and Bubbles hat, and that's live now as of Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess she hasn't sent it to us. One of the knitters I met at Freeman's Creative this weekend had a little girl with her who had on her ballerina outfit. They had clearly just come from ballet class, and she loves pink, and she modeled that hat for you.
Oh, yeah?
She had a rose. It wasn't a rose. She had like a carnation with her, and like,
had she just had like a recital or something?
No, I think it was just Saturday in Durham.
Just fancy.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So her mom took a bunch of photos of her, and I was like, pick one you like and email it to us, because I didn't want to be like the creepy lady taking pictures of her little girl.
Yeah.
And she didn't.
Well, maybe she'll tag us if she
I know exactly what she ordered, so we could probably find her in the
That's
Shopify
creepy.
system. She came back.
I'm teasing.
She bought a skein of berry stomp, and then her son. She came back later with her son and bought a skein of Showgirls because he wanted a bright orange hat.
That's awesome.
So
That's
That's
awesome.
the only reason I remember her. She came back twice.
I'm just teasing you.
So
no, I mean, well, when we're at these shows, you get to talk to these people. You know, like you feel you have a connection.
Yes.
That's the fun part of doing it in person versus just online.
Or just shipping a trunk show somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Okay, so yeah, this I thought was going to be finished, but it is not finished.
We need to hug it out about this.
No, I'm fine with it. It's fine. So this is my Tide chart by Amy Miller. And if you remember last time, I had this sleeve done, sans ribbing. I'm glad that I didn't do the ribbing because I saved that little bit of a skein. And then I needed to knit this sleeve, so I was about here, where you can see the speckles get much darker. So I dyed October, and I did alternate every other row down the sleeve until I got to the ribbing. I ran out of like the little bits of the previous dye lot right before I hit the ribbing. So all the ribbing here is going to be in the new dye lot, which is way more speckly. But I think it's fine. I tried it on last night. I can't tell. Yeah, I tried it on last night, and it is a little darker.
Yeah, I can't see it now.
Yeah, you can see it a little. But I think it's totally fine. Mm-hmm. Honestly, if it really bothered me, I could rip out the ribbing down at the bottom and use that skein for the sleeve, and then just do all. I think I'd be plenty to do all the ribbing in the new color, but it doesn't bother me that much, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So all I have left to do is the ribbing on both the sleeves, which I started the ribbing on the first sleeve last night, and then I have to pick up around the neckline, and then weave in the ends.
Nice.
Yeah. So next time, hopefully, I'll have a finished tie chart. This is a sweater I really wanted to finish before the holidays. It didn't happen.
I was supposed to wear this at Disney in November.
That's true. True story. We just bound off it last week.
Did you do the helix?
I did. Yes. I will only use that now for alternating skeins. Unless there is some serious reason why it can't happen.
Yep.
Yeah. I love it. I have a sweater that I alternated skeins on and just like, twisting them at the back.
I was like, what is up with that? You still have your scrap.
I have waist yarn in to measure, so I make sure I have like the right measurement.
Gotcha.
I just used a gray this time, which makes it kind of hard to see. But yeah, so helical knitting is the bomb.
It's where it's at.
Yeah.
Do it.
Because otherwise it does leave a seam. Even if you do it under the arm, twisting them, you have a tight row of stitches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you don't know how to do helical knitting, and the friend explains it and it seems not making sense, watch a video or have your friend sit next to you and show you. And then you'll be like, oh, that's super easy.
Yeah.
Because when you explained it to me at first, I was like, what are you talking about? 3 stitches? Like, what? I don't know. I don't get it. And it took until you sat down and actually showed me. And then I was like, oh.
It's like German short rows. When you are told how to do it and you do it the first time, you're like, but I didn't do anything.
Right. Exactly.
Same concept.
Yeah.
You're like, but how? I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But I did.
And it's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Much like German short rows.
Yes. True story. So that's this sweater.
Okay.
And I'm really excited about getting it done because I want to wear it. I love wearing Biddleville DK. My Cumulus sweater is one of the favorites that I've ever knit. And so I'm very excited about getting this one done.
I wore that on Sunday.
Did you?
I did. All of the samples were in the car, and I sent a picture to Brian of my Petulia sweater. And I was like, hey, will you go grab this sweater out of the bag of samples for me? I'm going to wear it today.
And it's gray.
And it's gray and purple.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought me Humulus, which is gray and pink.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
that'll work.
It's not what I asked for, but I will wear that. Because I need clothes, and I'm not going outside to get some.
Yeah.
So, yes, I wore your Humulus on Sunday.
Nice. Where'd you take it?
We went to the Morgan Street Market for lunch with Brian's brothers before we came home from Raleigh.
Nice.
So,
thanks for taking my Humulus out to lunch.
Welcome.
So special.
I had a burger in it, and then I had Brian and I shared an ice cream sandwich, a homemade ice cream sandwich, homemade ice cream and homemade chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, man, I bet that was delicious.
I only had a couple bites, but
Wouldn't have a tummy ache.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. What are you working on now? What's this? This thing that was finished.
This is a labor of love.
It is.
So my husband wanted a new sweater. So I started this sweater a year ago Christmas. I have photos of me knitting on it in Charleston for New Year's Eve 2019. It is the Radford sweater. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern by Jared Flood. And I knit this out of Loft. And so it's a fingering weight brown sweater.
It's got some like blue in it. Like,
you don't see that at night when you're knitting.
Yeah, no, I'm sure no. But I'm looking at it now. The I like Loft and Brooklyn tweed for that reason, because it has little specks of color that show through.
Yes. So it is a brown fingering weight seamed sweater.
Yeah.
And it's not just a front, a back, and 2 sleeves. It has this little detail on the side.
You're super nice, because I totally would have left that out.
Which is, I tried. He was like, no, that's what I like about the sweater. And I was like, oh, okay. So there's a reverse stockinette panel here under the arms. Mm-hmm. And then it also has, you seam it inside out in places, so you get the exposed seam, which again, I tried talking him out of, and he's like, no, I like that. And I was like, all right.
So what are you having to fix on the sweater?
So the sweater is those 6 pieces, and then again, you pick up backwards, so you get this exposed seam on the neckline.
I like that around the neck.
And then also on the sleeves. Mm-hmm. But it has nothing on the bottom.
Oh, it didn't have any ribbing on the bottom.
So it rolls, which is fine, but it's also a little short. So I have inside out picked up the ribbing at the bottom, and I'm adding some ribbing.
Yeah. So how much longer does it need to be? Are you going to do this amount of ribbing, or are you going to do more?
I need to measure it, because he's got a blue sweater that I knit him that he loves, that he wears very frequently to work.
That the length is perfect for him?
The length is great on.
Beautiful,
so I need to measure it.
This is really beautiful. That's going to look really good on him.
So, and he's worn it. He wore this all over on our vacation.
Yeah.
He brought this, and he brought his blue sweater, and he wore it probably 4 or 5 times.
That's awesome.
But he agreed. He was like, it does really need some more length than at the bottom. So
yeah, well, that's good that it also, well, I mean, you're solving 2 problems with the ribbing. It's not going to roll anymore.
Yeah.
And it'll be long, a little longer.
Yeah. So, and again, like, Brian is so knitworthy.
He is, yeah.
And he will wear this to work frequently. And, we only have weather that is appropriate to wear, for men to wear sweaters to work for not that long.
Right.
So
but you're almost done now.
So I need to finish it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say definitely measure against that blue sweater and see, because I think if you don't have to do more, I think it would look nice with the same amount of ribbing that is around the sleeve. And if that's the case, then you're almost done.
Yes. So.
Yeah.
So I got this back on the needles the other night.
Nice.
And this is pretty mindless knitting. It's just ribbing.
Yeah. I have another sweater to show, which is kind of like yours, like dark yarn. This is my Nightshades sweater that I'm knitting. The name of the pattern. I'm going to look at the name of the pattern. It's not on that page. It's on this page. Sophie by Amy Miller. So right now I'm only knitting Amy Miller sweater patterns on the needles currently.
That's what my sandpiper is.
Is that? I like her designs. Mm-hmm. And this is Nightshades, and the VCR colorway, which has green in it, but you're probably not going to be able to see. But I made a lot of progress. When I showed it last time, I was down here by this little coffee cup. I can't show the thing here. I was all the way down here, Here. So I've done all this knitting, including a couple of decreases. And I think I have, I've got to do like another decrease after 20 rows after this. And have you seen these kind of little stitch markers? So my mom got me these for Christmas. They're by Coco Knits. And she picked them up for me at her local yarn store. And I always use the bulb markers to mark increases and decreases in a pattern where I have to do repeats. But it's essentially a safety pin. So it's really sharp and can poke through the stitches. So this doesn't do that. And you don't have to open it because it's already open. Nice. So it's kind of like, reminds me of those clover ones for crochet projects, Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I really, really like it for marking increases and decreases in a pattern. And so if I didn't already have all those bulb markers hung on that sleeve to know how many decreases I was going to do.
Bulb markers just for that reason.
I probably would have used them, but I already had them the bulb markers counted out for the same number of decreases on the sleeve, so I just used those. But I really, really like them, so expect to see more of that when I'm marking stuff. Because she gave me like the whole little, like the little jar of them.
Yeah. Are they magnetic so they work with your little...
So it's called, that's upside down, Colored Split Ring Markers. And I really like them. Yeah. So it's a ton of them. I mean, nice. Yeah. And that was part of my Christmas present from my mom. Okay, so that's all my sweaters.
Did you swatch with the nightshades I gave you?
I did. I actually have your swatches in the back. That's how I was able to start on Christmas. That's how I was able to cast on because I swatched on the drive up. Yeah, so my swatch is actually the purple that Janice used for her.
You've got a whole nother skein of it.
I do.
That I gave you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knit my second weekender out of the purple version.
I really like the purple. Do you know what other one I like a lot? Is the static one. And that's the one with white.
I haven't seen that one.
It's really pretty. That really was pretty, like, if they didn't have the VCR color, this with the green, I told Mike that's the one I wanted. Nice. But they had my first pick. Yay. So, yay that.
I do like that yarn.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Do you have anything else on the needles?
Sort of. Pair of socks.
Okay, well, I'll show my shawl and then we'll talk socks. Okay, so I'm knitting the Ashbrook, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, by Tammy Gore. It's a shawl that starts at one corner and then you work out to like the big edge to make the other whatever. And I have made some progress since the last time. I'm not in the middle of a row, so yay that. I think last time I was in this Carmelie garter stitch. Yeah, look at me. I hung another thing on there. And so now I started this like slip stitch kind of color work part. I mean, it's not color work, slip stitches, but isn't that pretty? I think I really like the way it makes the V here. Yeah, so I think that's cool. So this is out of Old Soul Fiber Co. And that was dyed by my friend Danny. And so this is the company, Old Soul Fiber, and I'm using colorway London Fog, which is the light, like grayish mauvey purple. And then Copper Penny is the copper color one. And the other one is called Raspberry Truffle, which is like that purpley. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I've already decided, and I have not read ahead in the pattern, but if there are more baubles, I am not doing baubles again. Like, I think they look really cool. They look pretty, but it's not my jam. I didn't enjoy it. So, I don't know what I'll do. If it's bauble stripes, I'll just do stripes. And I think that'll be fine. And I'll be completely satisfied with that and happy to not do baubles again.
There you go.
I'm not a bobbler.
No?
No. I think they look cool, and there's some patterns that have them on there that I'm just like, oh, it's so pretty, but I don't want to knit it.
Like that, what is it, stone cropped?
Yes.
You really want that sweater.
I really want that sweater, I do. But, I've seen modifications that people have done on Ravelry, so if you make project pages in Ravelry, and you knit something, and you find a different way to do something, or whatever, if you make notes, it's very appreciated by other knitters. There are quite a few people who have made that stone crop sweater by Andrew Mowry, who have done it without bobbles. And they've made notes on how they modified that. And I very much appreciate it. Because when I do make that sweater, I'm going to make it without bobbles. Maybe I'll make it with hand spun.
That's why I asked you if you were knitting for something. Because you had mentioned...
The night shift shawl is another one that I want to make. And actually, one of our friends, Amy, not this year, but the previous year at the Frolic, had a table. And she was selling some stash, like doing a de-stash of some things, but she also had some hand spun on the table. And I bought some hand spun from her with the intention of making that night shift shawl. And it's in, a lot of the colors are like purples and blues, and which I have a lot of fiber in purples and blues. And so I don't know if these are the right weight, but I feel like with that shawl it doesn't matter. I don't know, maybe it does, but yeah, I would love to make that and have some of my hand spun in it too.
I don't think the weight you knit it out of matters. I think you just need a consistent-ish weight.
Yeah, because it's like slip stitches.
Yeah, I think it's just like a triangle shawl that you then like seam together somehow, maybe.
No, that's the cowl you're thinking of, but I think that is how that one's done. I don't think it's in the round, that one. The cowl, the shifty, isn't it called?
Yeah, I don't know.
Shift cowl or something. I don't know. I watched a podcast that just made one that was very pretty, but I don't remember what podcast it was. Anyway, you want to talk socks?
I have socks and a swatch.
Okay. What do you want to talk about first?
Let's stick on our sweater theme.
Okay. Talk about your swatch.
So, this sorrel sweater.
It's so pretty. You have to show them this one so they know what sweater you're talking about.
Yes.
Because it's been all over the...
This sweater.
Yeah.
The dip stitches, she calls them, are really easy.
It looks complicated.
It does look
it's got
very complicated.
Quite a complicated, effect looking fancy.
But it's really that way. It's really not that hard. I won't give away any of the secret sauce, but she does provide a video in the pattern, which is extremely helpful. And kudos to her. She has audio in the pattern, but in the video, but there's also words.
That's awesome.
It tells you what she is saying. So it's got, I guess, closed caption-ish.
Yeah.
Same concept. I don't know if that's what it actually is.
That's cool.
So if you're like, sitting with some friends and don't want to be that person with the video.
Learning how to do something. Yeah. Without your AirPods or whatever.
Yep. So I did just a little swatch. I have leftover purple mohair from my hat. I have a good bit of it left over, and our friend Ryan picked up some mohair for me at Vogue Knitting Live.
What kind of mohair did you get? Do you know, where is it from?
It's from that Chili Knits girl.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I was wearing those socks from Socktober the other day.
I wore mine the other day, too. So Ryan picked me up 2 skeins of like a mauve-y pinky. I haven't seen it yet. It hasn't arrived.
Person.
I haven't seen. Yeah. A little Vogue side note: the lighting in there is terrible. Those vendors, that has got to be a struggle.
Because they probably have to bring their own lights and stuff, right?
And a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
That ballroom is like purple and red carpet. And so, and
it's like sucks the light out.
Yes. Yeah. And it's dark to begin with. So it was really hard. And all of the photos Ryan is sending me, she's like, it's not quite that color. I'm really sorry. And it's like, thank you. I appreciate you shopping for me.
Well, lucky she knows what you like, too, right?
Yeah, and I had sent her a bunch of pictures ahead of time. Like, this is what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. So Ryan picked me up 2 skeins of the mauve, whatever color it is, of mohair, and we're not sure I'm going to have enough.
I was going to ask you, how many grams are the skeins?
So they're heavier skeins than the U.S. folks are getting.
Yeah.
Because I think I have just over 1,000 yards coming.
That's a lot of yards.
It is a lot of yards, but according to the pattern, it's not quite enough for the 40 or 42. I don't remember. Either way, I'm going to be cutting it close on mohair. So I certainly don't want to swatch with that mohair.
Well, does it have long sleeves? Mohair is hot.
Yeah, and
so like a bracelet length or like a 3/4?
My version of this, my Berry Hill boxy the other day at Freeman's, and I really like where the sleeves hit on that. So the sleeves will be the last. I'll kind of do tandem sleeves.
I bet you'll have enough if you don't do long sleeves.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
So I swatched with some scraps of Noda, and I was going to swatch with Berry Hill to see if I wanted to make it out of Berry Hill. And I started last night and I was like, nope, I'm not feeling this. I really like the Noda version.
Well, because it's superwash and because it has the nylon in it, it has a different drape than the Berry Hill, So depending on what sweater you're knitting,
Well, and the Berry Hill is also a heavy fingering. Like, we could label Berry Hill a sport if we wanted to.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a beefy fingering weight yarn.
Yeah.
So, small criticism of the pattern. It gives you a gauge, but it doesn't tell you if that gauge is this or this.
I bet it's stockinette.
So,
if it doesn't say, I bet it's stockinette.
Yeah. So, I obviously wanted a nice swatch, so I finished that up last night.
You should contact somebody that knit it, or look at projects on Ravelry. I bet they list gauge and say what they did.
Yeah. So, if you're doing texture and stuff like that, like, you should put that in the pattern. Like, here's your...
If I do, yeah, I usually note like that it's gauges and knit in stockinette.
Yeah. So, and I haven't even measured it. I don't know what it is, if it's closed.
Did you wash it?
Not. Nope. I finished this last night.
Oh.
So.
Cool. Well, you should take a gauge before and after you wash it. I always get excited if I actually knit a gauge swatch and go and wash it right away. And then I'm like, darn it, I wish I would have checked my gauge before. At least like the rows per inch. Do you know what I mean? Like to have an idea.
Yes.
I always rush though if I knit a swatch. Usually I'm like, oh, I just knit this sweater and it's that exact same gauge. Let me just cast right on.
So I am excited about it. And the colorway might be a new color.
Yeah.
That I used for the Noda because, I don't know, we'll see when I get my mohair.
Cool.
I think Ryan was going to mail that today, so.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right, all I have left to chat about is socks.
Socks.
So, if I had just worked on one of my sock projects, I totally would have had a finished pair. Because I finished 2 socks, but they're not with the same project. So the first sock that I finished was my DK Weight Regia socks.
They're pretty.
Yeah. With Fish Lips Kiss Heel. And yeah, I'm really excited. I was actually, the day that I knit the toe on this sock, I was wearing the DK Weight socks that I already have finished, that I love, and I wear like all the time whenever they're clean. And they're just a little too long. And I don't know if it's because of the gauge that the socks are knit at that they get stretched more easily. Do you know what I mean? They're not as firm of a gauge as I generally knit my socks. So I made this pair of socks 5 rounds shorter. Nice. And I think that will work really well, and I won't have baggy toes. So I got the first one done.
So sock question.
Yeah.
How many times do you wear your hand knit socks before you wash them?
Well, like 2 days and 1 night, probably. Yeah, unless I step in something. Which, I don't like to wear shoes in the house. And so during the winter, I'm always wearing socks. And so, yeah, and I have young kids.
I have cats.
So, I don't step in the kind of things you've been stepping in now. Usually it's like Gatorade or milk or dirt, like mud or whatever.
Yeah. No.
So, but this is how far I am on the second one, and I did use the 32-inch circular to do the rib, and I did a tubular cast on because that's my jam, and now I'm just working on the leg.
Nice.
So I got that much more to go, and then I get to do the heel. So I'm really excited to get these done. And they're really fast. I mean, they knit so fast because it's DK weight. Like, they go so fast. So, that is the first sock I finished. I'll show the other one that I finished, and then you can talk about your socks. Then I'll show my last one. So the other one I finished, I didn't even talk about last time. Actually, I forgot. It was on the needles. It was like in our mudroom area, there's like a shelf. And these socks were up there from when I was like taking the kids outside. And they just got like pushed to the back of the shelf and stuff got set in front of it. And so when I was cleaning up, decluttering the house, because the house is cleaned up, but I needed to like de-junkify so that my parents could come and set their stuff all around. I found it and I was like, oh, look. So I finished the first one. This is, oh man.
I love that colorway for some reason.
I don't remember the dyer. Oh, do I have it? No, that's the Knit Picks. So I'm using Knit Picks Essential Solids in the black.
It's not the Havarti or whatever it is.
No.
It's not Button Jar?
The Yarn Jar.
Yarn Jar.
That's who it is. So it's creme de menthe, and I gave away a pair of these socks to my sister-in-law, well, almost sister-in-law, I guess, Amanda, for Christmas this year. And I made her shorty socks, and then I'm making me shorty socks too. So I'm gonna have leftovers still, I'm sure, because I'm doing them pretty short, like only 3 rounds, stripes before I start the heel. And I'm using Knit Picks Essential Solids in black for the heel flap and heel turn. And I'm doing the double gusset heel because that's the best, especially for shorty socks. Like, I'll cheat and do Fish Lips Kiss on other, like, taller socks, but on shorty socks, it's a must. Mm-hmm. I have a couple of pairs of shorty socks that I just did Fish Lips Kiss, and I regret it, seriously, because my shoes eat them. They fall off my heels. So, yeah, I finished the first sock. And I just started, like, I think I have, like, 1 row of the heel flap on the second sock. So, yeah, if I had been working on the same pair of socks, then I might have had a whole finished pair of socks, but this is where we stand. So, and this is in a kitchen counter crafter bag. She's closing up shop. So, if you're lucky enough to snag one of her bags, she's putting them on sale on Instagram. Actually, I messaged her about a superhero one this morning that I want to get for Ryan, for like him to carry his Legos around in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I haven't checked Instagram since I messaged her, so hopefully I got it. I don't think anybody else had claimed that one yet, but she's putting them on discount on via Instagram. So
we'll tell her not to ship it, and I'll just get it from her when I see her in a couple
days. I will. That's what I was gonna do. So anyway. Cool. All right, I have 1 more pair of socks, but you go.
I have a pair of socks. I have been so anti-sock. But I haven't been anti-knitting. I have been just not knitting. So one of the things the only declared goal I set for myself for this year was I wanted to knit 15 minutes a day every day, and I wanted to not feel guilty for not knitting with Queen City yarn. Mm-hmm. Because my knitting time feels so limited, I always feel like if I'm knitting, it needs to be able to be a sample in some way, shape, or form. And I need to get away from that. We have
a lot of awesome sample knitters.
Yes, and I don't need to be part of that category.
No, not all the time. Sometimes you want to, you know?
Right. So, we're working through it.
Yeah.
I have knit...
It's a struggle as an indie dyer, I think, too. I mean, I don't know. I have a huge stash, and it's all beautiful yarn that I bought. I've still been buying since I've been dyeing yarn, but I have a huge stash of yarn that I want to use, that I have plans for. And it's hard. I think it's hard not to choose our yarn because it's like right there and we're twisting it up and we're dyeing it and oh, it's so pretty and oh, that'd be perfect for this. And it's hard not to get caught up in that. I think
it's easier for me to say no to our yarn because it doesn't live at my house.
Yeah, it's all here. So I'm like packing up y'all's orders and I'm like, ooh, look at that combo. Yeah. Oh, that'd be perfect for this sweater I have in my favorite.
See, I get that way when I'm dyeing, which is a little inside baseball. If you ever see a picture of 2 colors together that just came out of the dye pot, that's because I just pulled them out of the dye pot and I was like, ooh, those look great together.
Yeah.
And then thankfully by the time I get back inside, things are dry, I'm twisting things, I've long since forgotten about it.
You've gotten over that.
I've gotten over it. Where you've got dry, twisted yarn that you just need to hang on the Swift and you could start a project.
Yeah, that's true.
So I set a goal for myself, 15 minutes of knitting every day. I hate them.
Keep going.
15 minutes a day, and I've got a little tracker thing and I'm keeping track of it.
Nice.
And the only day I have missed is the day, if any of you follow us on Instagram, the day I did the whole behind the scenes, the day before Freeman's. Mm-hmm. As soon as that last bag or that pile of yarn got put in bags and in the corner in my living room, I went upstairs and I showered, and then we had a dinner thing for work. So there was no knitting that night. Mm-hmm. That is the only night I have missed. Or that's the only day I have missed. And that was last Friday.
Yeah. That's good.
So that is helping me actually finish, the 7 sweaters.
So today is the 28th or 29th, I think. So that means for 28 days, then you've knit for 15 minutes a day.
Yes.
Yay that.
So I have not been in a sock knitting place. I just haven't. I started these socks.
You started those as a teaching sock, didn't you?
Yeah, I was teaching a sock class and I needed to cast on a pair of socks to show people how to cast on a pair of socks, and I did. So this is our
Take a Hike
colorway. And I have knit one sock. I have a Rose City roller. It's done. And then I am on the second set of gusset decreases. And as soon as I'm done with the gusset decreases, it'll go back on my 9-inch circ.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so these are those Jimmy Beans Knit Smart.
They have the inches and stuff measured on them. That's nice.
Yeah.
So you're not a huge fan?
So
well, you don't really.
I just hate metal needles. you could hand me the nicest, most amazing pair of metal needles, and I'd be like, I hate metal needles. One thing I do like about these is one side is pointier than the other.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I think so, at least.
I don't know.
Moderately?
Maybe.
Some of them more so than others. Like, feel that one in comparison to the other end.
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't tell. It's definitely not drastic if it's true.
So that's what I'm working on.
So why'd you get these? You just wanted to try them?
No, Jenny had bought these, and Jenny either doesn't knit on size zeros or just wasn't a fan in general. So they were tossed to me at Virginia Beach last year.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, sure.
Cool. So. Yeah, because you knit yours all on zeros, don't you?
Yes, I knit all of my socks on zeros.
Yeah. Cool.
So.
All right, well,
that's all of my knitting.
Yeah. The last sock that I have on the needles is in another kitchen countercrafter bag, my favorite Christmas bag. And this is the Simply Sock Company Post yarn, which is a Corriedale nylon blend. And these are my holiday booty socks.
I do like the booty height.
Yeah, I do too. So
that was a good invention by you.
This is Post yarn, and the colorway is Jollyville, Texas. I like the base. 75% superwash Corriedale, 25% nylon. It's a little more toothy. It's more reminiscent of a wool like Regia or something, like Violet. It's kind of, but I like it. It's knitting up really pretty at a really nice gauge. I love the stripes. I like the pink. I like this pink and this like minty color. I'm digging it. So
it feels like Croy.
It does.
Croy.
It does, yeah.
And those are my favorite pair of socks.
Because it's thicker than Regia. Mm-hmm. It's more, yeah, you're right. It's more like Croy. That's a good analogy. And so I'm knitting these on a 32-inch circular, my Chalgu, size 1, 2.25. Got the heel flap done, which I just kept in the same yarn. And it worked out super cool because I started here with this stripe. I ended with this green stripe. The heel turn was all this red. And then the pickup started with the next color. Like, didn't that work out super perfectly?
Nice.
I was tickled, like, when that happened. It made me so happy. And so I'm doing the double gusset. I'm almost done with my first gusset. And then I'll move my markers up and finish decreasing out those extra stitches across the bottom. And then just go down the foot. But I'm enjoying these. I just haven't worked on them that much.
Yeah.
These are going to be my holiday booty socks. And that's all the knitting I have to show.
I did finish my holiday booty socks.
Yeah, you did. Finally. The ones that, the Naughty List socks from, what was the dyer? Stranded Dye Works was the dyer?
Yep.
Janice had got us both that.
Oh, I need to bring
Disney.
those leftovers.
You do. So Janice was like, I really want one of those little mini socks for Christmas in that colorway. And I was like, okay, cool. So I took the one off my tree and put it in her Christmas box, thinking that I would have enough left to knit mine. But I had knit my shorty socks, and then I knit a pair for my sister-in-law, Kristen, for Christmas. And so I didn't have any left at all. I ended up, for her socks, I think I did a long tube and cut, and I had to use a coordinating color for the heel and the toe because I didn't have anything left. So I was like, this is your Christmas gift. Yay for you, but you have to give me some leftovers so I can knit myself another little Christmas sock. Little ornament for my tree.
Yeah. I've got plenty of yarn left over. You could probably knit Caitlin a pair of socks out of them.
That'd be cute. Actually, she's been wearing hand-knit socks more recently. Yesterday, was it? It was, maybe not yesterday. Maybe it was Monday. Anyway, Monday or yesterday, one recent day in the life of Caitlin, she wore the pair of socks that Karen had knit and given to me to give to her at Frolic last year. And she wore them. She put them on in the morning and was super excited. And her sneakers are kind of like high top sneakers. And so she had them like squished down up at the top. So they looked like she was wearing leg warmers too. It was so cute. And she got home from school and I had her take her shoes off at the door. And she was like, Mom, my toes have been so cozy all day long. Thank you so much for these socks. And I was like, well, you can thank my friend Karen because she's the one who knit those socks and sent them home for you. And she was like, oh yeah, she's really good at socks. And I was like, yeah, she is. But so thanks, Karen, for keeping Caitlin's toes nice and cozy all day at school. She felt the love.
Nice.
For sure. So she's been wanting to wear her socks. Also today when she was getting socks out of her drawer, she did not wear hand-knit socks. And I was like, oh, why don't you wear these? And she was like, Mom, those are too small now. I was like, oh, darn it. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll need to take her socks and maybe we can give them to Diana or something like that for her daughter.
Yeah.
Maria, do you think she'll probably wear hand-knit socks, right?
Yes, I actually got a really sweet message because Diana is sweet.
She is.
I got a very sweet message from her Saturday while I was at Freeman's. She's like, I hope you have a really great day. And then it was a picture of Maria in the kid cowl, the narwhal cowl.
Aww.
I knit 2 of those for the photo shoot. Or no, Diana knit one. Mm-hmm. Diana knit the kid version and I knit the adult version. And she kept the kid version and it's Maria's favorite scarf.
Oh.
So,
well, I'll have to get Caitlin to go through her socks, hand-knit socks, and you can give them to her next time you see her.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yay for that.
Nice.
So I think that's all.
What about the socks I made her? Did those fit her yet? Are they still too big, or has she outgrown them?
She has not worn them yet, so I guess they're not the right size yet. I don't know. If you would like to dive into her sock drawer, I will give you a phone to call me if you get lost because it's intense. That's the only drawer. Finally now I've gotten her to straighten all her drawers. We have spent hours and hours taking clothes out of drawers and refolding them and putting them back in. Going through clothes. It's a real struggle. Thankfully they're in the drawers and not all over the floor. But still, I'm like, why do I waste my time folding all your clothes? They look like they're dirty when you put them on because you crumple them in your drawer.
I wouldn't fold them anymore. Let her learn how to fold the clothes.
She knows how to fold them. She just won't. So, it's a struggle. But anyway, so I think that's all the knitting I have. You have a couple of new Queen City things to show, don't you?
I do. So, our next batch of Berry Hill arrived yesterday.
Yay.
Should we share what we changed about?
Yeah. Do you want me to?
Go for it.
So, we absolutely love Berry Hill for color work. That's one of our favorite things to knit. Ways to knit it. And so, what we decided to do was to, instead of offering 100 gram skeins going forward, we will offer, obviously, the 100 gram skeins that we have already dyed.
Yes.
But going forward, we made the change this time to get the put up in 50 gram skeins, which means that it will be easier and more affordable to choose color work projects. So, I mean, I like having leftover yarn to knit more things with it. And I think even if you were going to use it in a yoke of a sweater, you'd still have a little leftover, probably from 50 gram.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hats and all kinds of things like that. So, yes, we are doing 50 gram skeins. I wonder why I messed up a sock something. And put this one away. But yeah, so we're doing 50 gram skeins to make color work more reasonable. And you can choose more colors for your project.
Yes.
Without having to buy the full 100 gram skeins.
Yep.
So that is a change that's coming. Mm-hmm. We still have stock of the 100 gram skeins, and so we're definitely going to continue to use those. We're also not going to break those into 50 gram skeins. We're going to continue to sell them as 100 gram skeins. So yeah, but we do have some really fun things coming up with Berry Hill. The last episode I showed you our new rose gold colorway, mm-hmm. which I absolutely love and I'm so excited about. And then Janice has played in the pots a little bit in the studio and created some other new colorways to show.
Yeah. So we've got three more.
Okay.
Right?
After this.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So there'll be 5 new Berry Hill colors.
Yeah, we have more planned. We have 3 more planned, but we won't show those.
2 are ready.
Yeah.
2 are ready for prime time here.
Mm-hmm.
And we hope to have those for Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
Like unless something goes totally awry between now and Virginia Beach.
Right.
Those 5 new colors will be there.
Right.
So, first one. This one has a name, right?
It does.
Caitlin named this one. Didn't she?
She told me, yeah.
Pistachio.
Yep. It's such a pretty, light, minty green. I think that's going to be absolutely gorgeous for color work.
And it's greener than it's showing up on the screen here.
Yeah, it looks like it's showing a little blown out. Maybe if you hold it back a little bit. I don't know. Sometimes it shows differently when you're like looking at it recording versus when it comes back up. But
so
Janice is going to take glamour shots of these colorways, so you'll be able to see them.
So pistachio.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one doesn't have a name yet.
Yeah, we haven't named this one yet, but it's really pretty.
And if you're really familiar with our colorways, this is very similar to our Lost Princess colorway. Mm-hmm. Similar to Lost Princess and similar to Plum Tuckered Out.
Yeah. Oh,
very similar to
I
this.
should have grabbed Blew Me Away to show. Is that one? That one
oh yeah, that's going on the website as soon as.
Be right back.
As soon as the FedEx man brings me back my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we released a new color this weekend.
And it's called Blew Me Away.
Blew Me Away. So these will be our 2 new colors for sure at Virginia Beach, and I am working on a design using these.
Yay!
So,
and I'm back. And this is our new blue. It's called Blew Me Away. This is on our Noda sock, which is 75-25. So I'm really excited about this one. It's fun. Very denim-y. Mm-hmm. Very Pantone. Mm-hmm. Color of the year. I
don't remember what colors I photographed that with.
I don't know. A fade with this and Prissy Pants and Huddle or Stonewashed would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
See that new Andre Maury fade sweater?
Mm-mm.
It's got baubles in between the things, I think. Which is the reason why I was like, meh. But I really like the sweater. But I'm thinking, like, I still want to make that So Faded sweater of hers. So, this is a new colorway that's going to be coming in the shop here before too long.
I think I put our fade... No, I didn't put them all back. I put the fading point kit, the orange fading point kit. I put that back on the website as a dye to order.
Yeah.
So we're slowly moving things back onto the website as dye to order
So that we can offer everything
Yeah.
without my closet doors busting off.
Exactly.
And then we can dye what you guys want.
Yeah. And then for Virginia Beach, I'll have several fades. I've got a black and white one.
Some really pretty ones.
I've got a purple one. I've got a pink one. I've got a blue one. I've got a green one. So, so yeah, all of that stuff's been photographed, and that stuff is those fades are gonna slowly start making it to the website as dye to order. So we've got 3 and 5 color fades.
Yeah.
I don't know that we need to go up to 7.
No, I don't know. I think that's like a pick your own, maybe.
Yeah.
At the ends or whatever. Well, tell everybody what Virginia Beach is, because that's the next event that you're going to be at. That Queen City's going to be at in person.
Yeah. So it's the Virginia Beach Yarn Getaway. It's it's sold out, so sorry.
Maybe next year, though, if you want to get on a mailing list or something, I'm sure Martha's got that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing
So there's a Ravelry group. That's the best way to learn about it. It's just the Virginia Beach Yarn Getaway. It is one of my favorite retreats of the year. It is very similar to Fall Frolic. Where there's like, I wouldn't say there's no programming because Martha does do some programming, but there's very little programming. It's like sit and hang out with your friends. It's off season at the beach, so their rules are pretty lax. Like there's generally like a bottle of wine at the middle of the table that is kind of community.
Yeah.
Like you bring a bottle and share, and everybody else is doing the same kind of thing. So that's really fun. It's very laid back. There's lots of great restaurants around. So what our group tends to do is we'll like just kind of we bring snacks for one. So like
somebody have snacks.
Yeah. So like kind of pick at the hummus and pita chips for lunch, and then like we'll go have dinner. And then breakfast is provided as part of the hotel. This year, Tanis Gray will be there teaching colorwork and Latvian braids. So that'll be really fun. It'll be amazing to see Tanis. I've met her many times, and she's become a good friend. So it'll be nice to see her.
Yeah.
And then our friend Amy from Ross Farms.
Oh, she's going to go too?
Amy's going to go.
Oh, you convinced her. Yay. That's
awesome. After everything that happened back in December, Martha reached out to me and she was like, if Amy wants to go, tell her to go.
Yeah.
Her retreat fee's on me. So Amy will be joining us. So that'll be fun.
That's so good.
It'll be nice to have her there.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So that'll be the first time I see her since the funeral. So that'll be fun, and it'll be fun to have Tanis with us too.
Yeah, because y'all are like a trio that from the Disney retreat. So,
and then lots of familiar faces. That's one of the things I like best about that retreat is it's a pretty small group, so everybody kind of knows everybody, but that certainly doesn't make it cliquey. New people fall in pretty easily, which is nice.
Yeah.
So that'll be our next event, and then behind that we've got a couple of things on the calendar, and I might get these reversed because we just recently added something, but we're going to be doing the Knitting by the Sea retreat, which is the Virginia Tidewater Knitters Guild. They do a small retreat, and again, that retreat is sold out, but you can still come and shop the market on that Saturday. So all of this is in the footer of our website, so if I get things a little wrong, it's correct there. So I'll be there, and then I will also be, I think, I might as well just say this, we have applied to be part of the Knitting Pipeline Georgia retreat.
Yeah.
And Karen's going to go to that with me.
That's awesome.
So.
And then the Savannah thing, too, is coming up soon.
Yeah, and then behind that we are at the Knit for Fun retreat in Savannah, Georgia. I don't know if there's still room at that retreat. You can certainly look that up. And that is Ann Budd's Knit for Fun retreats. And we'll be vending there on Friday and Saturday. And the Saturday market is definitely open to the public. Friday is just for attendees.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. So
lots of things coming up. Lots of places to be.
Yeah.
And yarn to dye and all that fun stuff.
I think that's our next few things. Right?
I think so, yeah.
I think everything else is behind that.
Yeah.
So the next few things we have coming up, Virginia Beach will have that new colorway Silent Disco, and like we do with all new colorways and retreats and events and stuff like that, it's exclusive to the retreat that first weekend.
It releases at the retreat.
Yeah, it releases at the retreat, and then it comes to our website afterwards.
It'll be available to everyone else after.
If you really want to look at it, it is currently on the website as a pre-order for retreat attendees only. Mm-hmm. And like I said, after the retreat, that'll be on the website for everybody. And then, yeah, we haven't planned anything for Tidewater, have we?
No, I don't think so.
So...
But that'll be fun. We can design something.
Yeah, let's talk about the kit for a second.
Okay.
The club.
Okay. Oh, yeah? Okay.
So...
Tomorrow, I'm planning on shipping them.
Okay. So club will go out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have been working on the website end of that, which has been a little challenging, but I think it's good. So... I think we've decided that if there's any leftover skeins from the club...
Well, extra, like to fill die lots.
Yeah, so if we...
That we don't steal.
Yeah, so say, we only sold the last 2 out of that last die lot. The last 2 skeins will go on the website for club members.
To be available for club members. So if you didn't... we're talking about the Queen City Yarn Studio Series Yarn Club. And January is our first month doing it. And it's been... a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it. And currently signups are closed, but we'll open them up for the February membership on the 15th of February. So look for that right after Valentine's Day. So you can sign up then. So, but yeah, we're gonna have any extra skeins that are available will be available to club members only. In a special secret place, I guess, that Janice is making happen. And yeah, I've been working on we've been working on the dyer's note, which is going to go out with pattern recommendations and just a little bit of information about our inspiration for dyeing the yarn and naming the yarn and technique that we used and found fun, that kind of stuff. So we've been working on all that stuff, and we're crossing the T's and dotting the I's and planning on getting that shipped out tomorrow. So that's super exciting. If you signed up for the club, thank you so much.
Yes.
The response to the club was more than we had even hoped for, like on the high end to start for the first month.
Yep.
And we're just super excited and feel really loved and supported by everybody joining the club. So thank you. And if you're interested in signing up next month, that'll be in February, and we have the signups for, you can do just a 1 month to see what you think. You can do 3 months or 6 months or 12 months, but yeah, thank you, because it made us feel really, really good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we didn't know what to expect with that, so we had, I thought, pretty reasonable expectations, and you guys kind of blew them out of the water.
Yeah.
So that was fun. So yeah, the signups for that will go out February 15th. Yeah, I think that's it.
I think so too. It's a longer episode.
Have you picked a base for next month?
No, I have an idea, but I'm not sharing that.
Gotcha.
So
no hints.
No hints.
All right.
Alrighty.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Thanks so much for joining us today. And definitely, if you enjoyed Janice being here, tell her so she comes back again. Because, scheduling is hard. But it's always nice to have a friend to, talk to in real life, even though you're all my friends. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
And now I don't have to watch the episode and then text you as I get to things.
Yeah, well, it's kind of nice, too, to sit together and talk about our knitting together. Because usually when we sit together, we have, the project that we're working on while we're talking, but it's not oftentimes that we're like, and look at this that I have, and look at this that I have. Because, work and stuff. So, anyway, until next time, happy knitting, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye!